Hey guys, I just realized that I recorded my arm in the other video, so sorry about that. So now, what I did here, while you guys were gone, is what I have here. This is our original file here. What I did, basically the same process I did for the characters, I repeated that process for the cars. So what now we have is the cars separated. Any part that's related to the car is now completely separated from the background. So we have the background on one layer, we have the car on another layer, car stuff, and then we have the characters on another layer. So everything is nicely separated, and the layer and the panel divisions there. So now the next task at hand, what we're going to do, there's really only a little bit of background here, not much at all. Just sky here, there's sky here. I mean, that's not a big deal. Sky here for the most part, and some road. But this looks like it's going to be where the vast majority of stuff's going to take place. So let's go ahead. So what I did now is basically I have everything separated. So I have my background layer, I put it on multiply. So, and I have a layer underneath. So what that means is that now, if I want to, and I do, I can paint underneath it and automatically the lines will adjust to whatever's underneath it. So the line art is on multiply. So, and if you ever want to zoom out to full size, it's Control 0. Control 0 zooms you out to a full page zoom. It's just faster. How I do this is, what I do is I start with the sky. I always go from furthest back to forward. You know, I'll go over the, I'm gonna go over the, what do you want to call it? I'm gonna go over the lines a little bit here, so not to worry. Whoops, wrong one. There we go, additive mask, additive. So let's, well, I know this scene basically is gonna be like, you know, daytime, obviously. Or maybe not obviously, but it is. So we're going to fill that in. Blue. And tropical skies usually have like sort of a haze that happens. Now there are going to be clouds in the background. I did take them out because I want to paint them in. So what we'll do is we'll take our gradient tool and just draw a simple gradient. Very simple. Now keep in mind also that, you know, when building up things like this, you know, it's always good. Well, not good. It's mandatory for you to know where your light source is. So now the whole point of this, whole story here is that, you know, it's the middle of the day, it's really hot, you know, they're cooking right now. So then obviously it makes sense that the sun would be pretty high in the sky. And you know what? That's exactly what we're gonna do. So, pretty happy with my sky like that. What I'll do, just as a precautionary measure, generally I do this, is I'll go in and put another layer, and this is the layer we're going to do those big puffy clouds in. So I have my brush here, and then we'll just start roughing it up. Now as clouds are like further away in the horizon on a humid day, at least where we are here, like in the Toronto area, we get really humid summers. So the further and the bigger the clouds are, the further they are away, the more sort of grayish they become, or hazy. So I'll experiment with some shapes here. Maybe I want that palm. No, I want that. You know, the clouds are part of the composition. Don't think that they're not. They are. So you can come up with some interesting composition with clouds as well too. Now the clouds I'm shooting for here are these sort of popcorn clouds, convective. So it's like they have a lot of, you know, energy within them for rain or something like that. And, you know, the typical tropical cloud that you see. So now what we're going to do, lock transparency. So that's the backward slash key. If I'm saying that right, yeah, it's the backward slash key. So as for brushes, you know, they say, you know, they want me to say the brushes that I use. I really don't use any specific brushes that are like crazy or different. I just make them up on the fly. Like nothing like really crazy at all. Seriously. I'm one of those people that's convinced that, you know, whatever you can get, the stock settings, you know, it's pretty much you can get what you need it to be. So I want the sun to be coming from above, so that means the tops of the clouds. So what we're going to do now is just, you know, sort of rough in some of the clouds. Now I want the light to be sort of coming down here a little bit too. And you know, if the cloud is sort of like overlapping, then overlapping itself, like it's sort of expanding beyond its whatever's underneath it, so that it looks like a shelf almost, then you would make that part darker. But right now we're just concentrating on the the light part. And also I don't want these clouds to necessarily be ominous. I just want it to be indicative that when a viewer looks at this, they know what type of environment they're in. So like, okay, this is like one of those tropical type deals. So there we have it. Oh, let me pick a white. So, oh wow, you can hear the wind outside. We just had a major storm a little while ago. There we go, fluffy white clouds, pretty general. Yes, I know, you know, there's so many different types, there's so many different ways of actually going about doing this, like an illustrated novel. It really depends, like, you know, what you're after, what you want to do. I mean, will take like a little bit of time to do, obviously, but you know, the results will be nice, but this might not be the result you're after. You might want like a different result, like a more crisp result. But this one, I like, typically what I've done over the years is I've always, you know, rendered the backgrounds really like nicely, or tried to at least, because I feel like it adds a richness to the overall piece. It's not so just cut and dry, you know. And generally the reason why people do it this way is so that cell shaded characters stand out against the background that much more. When you do sort of an airbrushy approach on your characters and you know, sort of really hyper render them and stuff, and then you put them against another hyper rendered thing, the background, it can definitely they'll definitely get buried in it. But if you do it this way, then it's like definitely better, because then, you know, you can see it against a sort of more muted background, where you have the characters having the highest saturation colors and the characters of the highest contrast and all this sort of thing. They stand out and it's so easy to read. Otherwise, you know, it's not easy to read at all. You have to sort of like look and find the characters and that sort of thing. And that's why, you know, maybe in like a normal situation I would you know, have the cars, you know, be like animated features, meaning like they would be cel shaded. So anyways, let's save it. We'll save a new version of it. Save a new version. Always save new versions. It's just a good thing to do. It's a good habit. Oh, we missed this cloud over here. Let's put some effort in here. You know, some of the outline of the cloud looking a little bit too, how shall we say, a little bit too childish. So let's try and make it a little bit more complex. Just a little bit, not too much. I mean, that sort of surreal quality is nice too. So I'll just unlock the transparency, and I'll take my eraser and I'll put it on brush, and I'll reduce the spacings and reduce the hardness just a bit, so that the flow is at, should be at 100, yes it is. And go in, just erase just a little bit, just sort of define that edge just a little bit more, for better or for worse. But I still want the general shape to be there, you know, that sort of puffy, popcorn-like cloud convection. Yeah, it doesn't mean necessarily it's going to rain in the story. Be careful of the edges you get to. You don't want, you know, like ski jumps or something to be happening here. You want like the curves to be like nice and round. And this is the therapeutic part. Now let's see, after this, already at this stage I'm thinking what I'm going to do next, because this is pretty close to where I want it to be. I'm going to round that out a little bit more, make that a little bit nicer. And remember, these clouds are all on a separate layer, so it's nice and handy. We can definitely go in and start really messing around if we need to. So you can do stuff like this too. So say for example, it's like, all right, that's looking okay. You can go into our smudge tool as well too, and sort of just haze just parts of it. Let's reduce the strength of that smudge tool. And just haze, you know, small parts. I'm just doing brush strokes that sort of accentuate what the shape of the cloud is. And of course, because the cloud is on a separate layer, what's happening is that it's not affecting the sky on the background. Whoops, wrong one. It's not affecting the sky. So I'm just softening it up just a little bit. I've reduced the strength so it doesn't pull it like too much. Because I don't want like a hard cutting edge, like really slice, you know, like this is where the cloud begins and this is where it ends. No. I want it just a little bit, not Gaussian blurred, not that calculated, but a little bit more murky. So there we go. Now we're cooking. Alright, that's looking okay. So let's do another thing. I want that, as the clouds go further in the background, I want them to be a little bit more hazy than that. Not so white. So what I'll do is I'll go lock the transparency again, do a gradient, and go on that cloud layer and do it something similar to that. No, maybe like this, doing it a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Sort of hazes off, sort of like goes off in the distance. Maybe not that much. Yeah, maybe like that's fine. Okay, good. Save it. We love it. Now, well, I'm pretty confident with that. So why don't we just, for sake of, you know what? I'm one of these people that does not like having massive amounts of layers. I don't like that. Like as I go along, I consolidate stuff. It's like you should know, like at a certain point, you should know what you want and what you don't want. I don't like having massive amounts of layers just floating around. Just for the simple fact that it's just a lot to juggle. Like you don't want to have to deal with that too much. So I don't know. What can we do? Let's put. All right. Let's. Sometimes I do this too, like where I'll consolidate layers, like I was just saying. So let's put the water on the same layer. So I'll make the water this sort of bluish, like Caribbean, sort of like azure, whatever you want to call it. And you know, don't worry about the colors. Like I mean, well, if it's a little bit off, or if it seems a little bit too like a little bit too strong, don't worry about it. I mean, this is the beginning stage. We can mess around with it later. So let's see. Well, we got sand. Now, what type of sand do I definitely want it to be that, you know, that really nice white sand. Maybe a little bit more yellow than that. A little bit more yellow. So, and we'll go in and do the details after, like the bridge and stuff, and the trees. The trees I'll do on another layer over top. So what this is, this area here, it has a lot of like shallow water. So of course, as the water is more shallow, you know, that sort of gives that Caribbean like blue type color that looks almost surreal. Like, how can that exist? How can that actually be blue? How that happens is because the sand is almost close to white. So the sand underneath makes it, whoops, the sand underneath reveals the actual color of the water by virtue of the fact that it is, you know, the water is translucent. It is transparent, but it is translucent as well too, in that, you know, you do get that sort of bluish. When you layer water, you see water, really deep water, it does change color. It's like glass. Glass can appear white. And then when you sort of layer it over top of itself, then you start detecting that more bluish sort of aspect to it. So we're doing that. Let's reduce our flow. I always reduce the flow. I don't touch the opacity usually. Leave the opacity the way it is. And we'll do that. Now, as we go on, you'll see what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm just sort of setting the base for this. And then I'll draw in sort of like the white ridge, the rim of like where the actual water is the water is actually coming ashore there. So let's save that. Now, oh, I don't know. Let's go and do that mountain background. This is all on the cloud layer because I'm pretty, it's pretty easy for now. So if you don't feel as confident, there's no shame in that, no problem. You can go ahead and do it on separate layers if you so desire. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, if I know what I want, then I don't waste time. I know what I want, so we're going to do it this way. So, but there are pluses and minuses to it. So for example, this green is not right, and also I want this sort of hill. I want this hill to have like light coming off of it, or coming down on it as well too. So what I'll do is I'll take a little brush here, and I'll just reduce the spacing a bit. I'll go to shape dynamics and turn on something called angle jitter so that it sort of changes it around. And very simply just go in and start putting in some texture here and there. So now the sun, so imagine the sun is like, how I have it is the sun is like coming this direction. Generally above, generally. So that means good amounts of this hillside would be illuminated. But I want that the darkness of the foliage to be there too as well. And sort of like outcroppings, like where there's more steep hillsides. So, and the other thing is like we'll change the color of this too, because I want it to be, we need it to be a little bit more muted. This is a little bit too saturated. What we'll do is we'll go in and mask it. Now, of course, if we had this on another layer, it'd be easier. Actually, you know what? Let's get rid of the overall mask. Go here and do a mask around. And then we'll go Control U for saturation and reduce the saturation a little bit. Change it, I want it a little bit more yellowish. There we go, like that. Get rid of that. Zoom back. Okay, so that's our hill there. And what are we gonna do? So let's define a few more trees. And then the other thing is I want like a haze to be there as well too. So remember, I'm coloring behind the bridge right now. So I'm not concerned what the bridge is doing and how it looks. I'm not concerned about that at all. So what I'll do is maybe just put a little bit of a haze, just a little bit. And then we'll do the bridge as well too afterwards. So there we go. So let's put a few little highlights here and there. Let's make it a little bit more yellow, because the yellow is like let's put it at the top. Highlights generally are yellow when it's a warm light source, or more so. So I'm just taking that same sort of semi-textured brush, and so now where the part of the mountain is really high and it's facing the sun the most, that's where the brightest part's going to be, for the most part. Generally it's the case, and then everything is in a point between. Anything that's like 90 degrees to the sun is most likely going to be the brightest thing, most likely, because it's exactly facing the sun. Everything else is less or more. Well, definitely less. 90 is the most. And then the darkest thing would be 180 degrees. This is not keeping in mind like backlighting. Backlighting is a different thing. But all things equal, like out in space and this sort of a thing where there's no ambient light, then you can see like that's how come the moon, usually appears very dark or black on the other side. There's no ambient lighting going on. All right, so we got that going. Let's do a few overall sort of splurts there. I'll reduce the flow a little bit just to soften it, because I want this whole area to be that sort of warmish green. So like that. How are we doing for time? About 20 minute-ish, about. I mean, some things you just can't rush, right? And you know what? We'll go back and revisit this, because right now I'm just coloring underneath the lines. So save it. Save it, my friend. Don't be a daredevil. Just go straight out. No. You must save it. You must save it. Well, look at that. We got clouds. We got a mountain over here, and it's a beautiful day. beautiful day to put another layer on, so let's do that. Now, I didn't separate the cars here. Even though they are cars, I didn't separate them because I'm like, you know what, it's fine, they'll all be one layer. You can do it that way. Now let's just pick a color. I don't know. Let's pick this color here. Or no. Let's pick a darker one, a more bluish. Maybe something like that. And then we're gonna take a brush. We're gonna go to our brush presets. Just pick any brush. Turn off the shape dynamics. That just tapers it on one end or the other. And then let's go in and make sure the flow is cranked. And draw in, or do the flats for like this this part here, the bridge. Now it's all on one, it's all like fairly small, so you don't have to be like super militant about it, because I mean we're probably going to end up blurring this just a little bit too to create that distance, so it isn't that important. And again, I'm going way over the lines, so it doesn't matter, because I know I'm going to clean that up afterwards. So it's like whatever can like make it a little bit faster. So let's see how we want to do that. Get those cars. Do we want to do a polygon tool? Yeah, they're sort of that shape, so to do a polygon tool. Now obviously all those cars have to be different colors, but don't you worry, we'll figure it out. It's a nice, it's very hot, this place, and everybody's just sitting there. Everybody's been in this situation before. You're on your way to a vacation or whatever, and sure enough, there's traffic, and it's hot, and especially if you don't, you see, that happens too. Good lesson right there. If you double clickety-click too fast, it closes the masks. It closes the mask really fast. So a quick workaround for that is, if that ever happens to you, you just color in the spots that were filled in, and then you invert the mask, and then color in the other way. It's not the end of the world. It's it causes a little bit of a hassle, but you can still use it. You still use what you worked on there. Just have to be careful. If you double click too fast, it closes the mask on you. So let's try and do it this time without closing the mask on ourselves. Well, I didn't close it. That one, two, you have to have like some sort of a beat. Dun, 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 dun. If you go faster than that, then it'll like dun, dun. See, it closed right like that. And so okay, then we know it's like do 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 do. There we go. A little beatboxing never hurt anyone. Alright, let's do it over here too. Oh, do I want to do those trees on this layer as well too? Do we really want to do that? We can do that. That wouldn't be a problem. So all the cars go off into the distance. And you know what? Don't worry. Like the lines and the line art and stuff, we'll definitely come back and like soften that up. So Alt backspace fills it. And let's just erase part of that underneath, just so that some of the water shows through. And what else? And this too. Right here, this one. So, and we'll do the trees and stuff over top too, you know. Usually I keep foliage as well too separated. So it's like right now I'm looking through this, and we'll do the park sign as well too. Title Park. Ominous name. I don't know where you guys live, but in Canada every town has a population sign. When you enter the town, it always has the population, and they update it. So I don't always see that as being like a thing that everyone has, but they always update after the census. They update it. So in my story I also have it too, and everything's in kilometers and Celsius and all that good stuff. It's the way of the future. So let's see. This is palm tree. We'll go into more detail with these guys. I just want a rough general shape to it, and then, you know, when we actually color it, then we'll go in. You'll see what I'm doing. See, closed on me again. Starting to get a little bit high speed. We'll get those fans. There's some cheats for these as well too that you can do, but these are so far in the distance that it doesn't apply. Like there are some things I do for, like, when palm trees are like closer, you can actually generate leaves. Like, you actually draw the leaves out and then you can warp them. But, you know, since you actually did them yourself, you actually made the leaves yourself, it's not cheap for that reason, that you paint like a selected leaf yourself, and then, you know, you go and you like warp it, and you can make like tons of them. And then once you make one palm tree, like if you skew it and warp it a little bit, you can make many palm trees if you're smart about it and hide your tracks well. You can get some sneaky stuff going on, and then all of a sudden you can make like palm trees a lot easier. Palm trees are a hassle though. A lot of foliages too. Like, yeah, you know, you want to paint the foliage, you can. I'm doing it this way because I want to preserve the line art. I want, you know, I put that time into doing the line art there, and as a result, like, we'll be able to, you know, use that to our benefit as well too. This tree's not as defined, and of course it's all on a separate layer as well too. So what I'll do, I'll turn on shape dynamics so it like slims out, and then just draw some lines out like that where we need them. I'll do that on the other. I should have done that on the other one too. Make it look more real. And don't worry, even if it's light, you know, we'll match the colors so that it matches, you know, the line art. So how the line art is dark. I'm just using one color right now so that I can see what exactly is going on. It doesn't mean that the palm tree will be this sort of weird mint green. It just means that when you're flatting, it's nice to just have one color, one thing to worry about. Just one color to worry about. So let's do these flats. But yeah, it's tedious. It takes time. It takes time. And this is the way I'm showing you guys, is like you have all your layers separate, so you can really like mess around afterwards. So let's save that. Save it. And all of these you know, trees and stuff here, bushes and stuff in the front here, what we'll do is we'll do that on another layer in front of it. So we'll get all this stuff done here, and then we'll go in and do that. So it's like I work like it's all in layers, so it's like easy to control stuff. It's very easy to control stuff. So now let's say, oh, we don't like that color, so let's make it a little bit lighter, because the main focus is the bridge. Like the bridge is mostly that color, so we'll do that. And I don't know, where I live, it's like, we'll lock the transparency. Where I live, you know, many times like the guardrail is usually green. But you know what? Let's make it. No, it should be green. My gut feeling is that it should be green-ish. So we'll do alt backspace, fill that in green. Well, maybe green doesn't work so well. Let's try a different color. Let's see what we got here. A yellow, a bluish is good. Make it lighter. Yeah, maybe we'll do blue. So it's like, whoever did it, it's like the motif of that island. It's like, oh, it's blue, you know, because it's like you're at the ocean and whatever, because you are. So we'll do that. And stop that. And get rid of that. And mask out this area. And then we'll do the cars. There we go. So do the cars, move back here. And yeah, I know, I'm going over the sign and the palm trees, but don't worry. So let's see. Let's get our colors. So what color we got here? Oh, let's do this kind of color car. Let's take off brush dynamics. Do this one. We'll pick one. We'll do a dark one over here, and then maybe let's see. No, we'll get our swatches. Oh, we need a green car for sure, and maybe we'll get like. And also the thing is, like, keep in mind, I'm not going super saturated either. I'm being very careful about it, so that it's not like overly saturated. I'll do the windows like dark, actually. You'll see. First, I get the general shape in of the cars. So the cars are there. We'll clean it up. That red car is a little bit jarring. I don't want it to be so high power like that. There we go. Move that down a little bit. And oh, we need a blue car too. So let's get a blue car in there. This type of blue. A little bit less saturation. There we go. And I'll put a blue one in there. And let's see, maybe. So yeah, you know, it does take time. There's just no way around it. You are going to be spending like an amount of time on this, especially if you want to look nice. And I'll put that type of car there too, sort of this sort of bluish. And I'll put a dark car here, maybe another dark car there, beige one there. So generally what I'm thinking here is like I'm keeping the colors pretty basic so that you know that they are cars, but again, like, you know, I don't want it to be too overpowering, like too many colors, so it looks like a, you know, a circus or something. I don't want it to look like a circus. No circuses. And let's put a yellow one. Some yellow cars. This one. Put over there. This sort of a dark gray here. There we go. So we got cars there. Let's have a look. And if they're overall too saturated, you can desaturate them a little bit more. There we go. Now, let's go in and draw the windows in. So let's put some windows in, and you know, afterwards we will put the actual shine and stuff like that. So I'm just doing the dark for the windows, because usually in the car is like dark. Then we'll do shine. You know, if need be, we'll do shine on them as well too. You know, sometimes you don't need it that much. But it's like that shine lets, you know, just some few flecks of like white or something like that lets us know that there's glass on them. And then when you have that reflection happening off of them, it makes it look as though that, oh, it's a very sunny day, very shiny, you know, like that high specular that'll happen when the sun hits something. So there we go. Fill in those palm trees just like that. See, that wasn't too hard, was it? See that? You know, you did all your shading on the page, and now it's easy. It's like all those pencil lines automatically, you know, go on and adjust themselves. It's very nice and easy. Actually, you know what? Let's take off the object transparency and draw some more of these palm lines. And now, obviously, you know, we can see a problem now that the lines, what's happening is that so the palm tree is like a little bit too similar color to the hill in the background. A little bit, like the colors are a little bit the same. So what we can do, we can change that as well too. And just go in and pick like a slightly more yellow color with more saturation. Watch that gamut alarm. That gamut alarm is just letting you know that if you ever wanted to print this out, you might be getting yourself into a little bit of trouble because it's out of range. So anyways, we'll make these a little bit more like this. And maybe we'll keep some of those on the bottom. I'll do that one too. Now let's do that trunk. So let's pick a trunk color, something like that. And we have to have those, you know, the whole idea, like this island it's not perfectly maintained. It's sort of like a bit of a budget type of place to go. So some of the things aren't maintained, like, you know, all super hot and stuff. No, not necessarily. So we need let's reduce the flow a little bit. pick some colors here, make it that sort of greenish yellow. And reduce the flow some more. And go in. Oh, it's getting late. 40 minutes. So you know guys, like it's just, you start working and then next thing you know, it's like, you know, the sun went down. You have to go home, it's dinner time, stuff like that. You just get into it. And it's, you know, I'm dictating the whole thing to you guys now. Like if I really get into it and like listen to music and or lectures or something like that, and you know, you just preoccupy your mind while you're working, it goes even, you know, that much faster. So the title park, let's make it a blue sign. I want it to be blue. That's the gimmick. And we'll do, make the sign frame sort of a dark gray so it stands out a little bit more. And have your temperature sign. Title park, we'll do it in white here. Yeah, you know, I know I can go in and do like text and stuff like that, but the thing is like this makes it feel like it's, you know, it's drawn. Like it's actually drawn. It's not just, oh, he dumped some text in there. 'Cause sometimes that can look really cheap. Even if you do it well, it still looks cheap. Depending on what it is. Like if I did it here, it wouldn't look as good. It looks better if I actually draw it in my opinion at least. So now let's save it. You know, like most of the background is this. Like all the sky and stuff like that in the other parts here, like, you know, here and here and here, like I can just cut out parts here, blur them and put them in there, which is exactly what I'm gonna do, shamelessly, because I spent all my time here. I've invested my time and did it here. So now let's go in, let's do another layer. This one's gonna go on top of these bushes. And we'll take that, and don't you worry, we're gonna do the bushes. Like I'm gonna show you guys a technique for that. Let's turn on scattering, and let's see, we'll reduce the spacing a little bit, and you know, sometimes I'll drop colors and they won't look right, so then what I'll do is I'll actually just color pick like right off the page. Right when I'm dropping like the colors, let's say it's a little bit too dark there, pick a little bit there, right, because the light's like in front of us, and we'll define all that later. So like I want that to be a little bit darker, so in some cases I'm like just going straight ahead and like putting things in. You can lock the transparency as well too, so you don't go over where you don't want to go. There we go. Now let's unlock the transparency and sort of, I would like to make the bottom of this a little bit more defined, a little bit more stable. It doesn't look all together there. Let's turn off lock transparency. And you know, yeah, I know it's dark. Don't worry. We're gonna go over top of it. This is like we're doing the base here. This is the base layer. And then we'll go over and do like those details afterwards. Same with here, this stuff here. So I just want it to be that these bushes look like they're grounded, like they're on the ground somewhere. Okay, so save that. Now, what we can do is we can make a layer that goes over top of the line art layer, and let's see what the benefits of that is. So what we're going to do is we'll take a simple brush, turn off the scattering, turn on the shape dynamics. This on a new layer, brand new layer. We're going to use a lighter color. Let's go in and make some, let's increase the flow. Let's make some of these palm leaves stick out like the sun is above it, so it's like catching some of them. So, and you have to know how palm trees actually go. I mean, if you really want to, you can put this on a screen layer too, if you wanted to. But I'll just leave it on normal for now. Everything, all those layers before were also on normal. So So you can imagine like where the sun is sort of catching parts of these palms. And let's go up here. Here's a little bit here too, so maybe the top of this one. Because as the fronds come out of the top, they sort of start bending down. Oh, telephone. We'll block that. And that's a good sign, because I know I do have to finish this off pretty soon. Then we'll go to the background too, because I don't want to rush it. So there we go. So zoom back. Now all of a sudden those palm trees look a little bit more believable. So you can have it so that you lock the transparency as well too, and reduce the flow. Oops, reduce the flow, lock transparency. There we go, lock it. So now what I'm doing is I'm choosing certain parts. I don't want them all to be that intensity. Some I want to be brighter than others. So what I'm doing is carefully blocking some of them out more. There we go. Now let's go over here. Let's do some on this guy here too. So let's pick that green again. Maybe I'll make it a little bit lighter. And turn off the lock transparency. And do a few streaks down. Let's crank the flow again, because when you do it small, one sec. When you do it small, like it doesn't always read properly. Like here now we're at a really small part of the picture. So let's be careful about it. And we'll stop it there. We're gonna do more. We're gonna do the do some shades. We're gonna do some more foliage and some water as well too. So let's just go ahead and pause this. And I'll see who is calling me.